Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor, and today we have a little bit of a showcase for my brand new rank 4 Killmonger. Now, I already posted the video where I ranked him up, and I did take him to level 55, obviously the next level up event that came on, and I've just been going through Act 6, Act 7, CAV, Labyrinth, stuff like that, and getting some gameplay for you guys. Now, I'm not in the CCP, which means I do have to actually pay attention because I can't just unit my way through these paths to get easy fights at the end or something like that. And also I don't have unlimited energy. But I still wanted to make this video because I think Killmonger is a very underrated champion. Offensively, obviously everyone knows his value defensively. So to start off, we are going to be doing a synergy review. So I'm just going to be showing you guys all of the synergies that I ever use in this video. I'm going to be explaining them right now while I'm in game, and then I'm going to switch over to my video that has all the fights in it, and you'll see that. But we're just going to go over every single one I use, what it does. So if you see something that you realize, oh, that isn't in his normal kit, this is why. So first off, there are his personal synergies. Now, I actually do end up using all three of them because I do think all three of them are great synergies with their own good value. So starting off, we have this synergy with Winter Soldier, where he gains his True Strike when he intercepts the opponent's dash. So whenever you land an intercept, you gain it, and you gain the True Strike you normally get from countering specials. And the most popular use of this synergy is paired together with this synergy with Black Panther Civil War. And you start off with 3 of your indestructible and counter punch charges, which means that in order to counter evade right off the start of the fight, all you have to do is dash back, hold block, wait for them to hit into your block, and then counter immediately. And it counts as an intercept. So you gain a way to immediately, upon the start of the fight, with no RNG involved, which means you don't have to go for like a naked intercept, you gain a way to guaranteed get your True Strike right off the start of the fight. So next synergy is going to be the Void synergy. This is one we also use quite often, most of the time, because I am using suicides for this entire video. And this is that when my armor is active, he has a 35% chance to purify a debuff after a 0.5 second delay, and then instantly regenerate 4% health per debuff, which basically means that as long as we are not armor broken, then we will be able to purify debuffs in regen, which I am going to be showcasing one path specifically that is entirely based off this synergy. And yeah, that's a synergy I use a lot. So Killmonger has some good synergies of his own, as I just showed, but he also has a lot of very good synergies that come from other champions. So first off, we're going to go with the Human Torch synergy. And what this synergy does is normally in his kit, a crit has an 80% chance to inflict a bleed. That's how he bleeds the opponent. And this synergy just turns it into 100%. So every single time that you crit, you bleed the opponent. It's a really nice synergy. It is one of the less used ones in this video for sure, but I do use it a fair bit, and it's a great synergy. So next off, we will go with the Storm Pyramid X synergy, and this one just makes your bleeds a little longer. 30% added duration. Now in this video, I am running 5 out of 5 deep wounds, so just keep that in mind. And then sometimes I also have this synergy to make those bleeds just that much longer. So next, I believe all the rest of his synergies are with skill champions. So the first one we're going to go through is going to be Jabari Panther. Now, personally, this is the favorite of the synergies. This is my favorite synergy of Killmonger's, other than the ones in his base kit. And this is actually going to give him a precision buff that is plus 700. And the way that Killmonger works is, let's say or a common pairing rather. So one of the common pairings I was doing earlier was Winter Soldier and Black Panther Civil War with Killmonger. And those synergies go together really well. And there's two synergies that go together really well here, and it's this one and the Human Torch synergy. So you have an increased chance to crit because when you parry, and all of your crits get bleeds. So you build up your charges faster when you want to throw that special 3 to convert all your charges into bleeds. So that's a synergy I used a lot. Another one I use quite a bit is this Black Cat synergy, which is based off of your combo. And the higher your combo, you get a potency increase in your bleed debuffs, which is up to 50% at 200 combo meter, which is actually pretty decent. Now, this is, again, one of the less effective synergies he has, but it is definitely a very good synergy, and I was happy to have it for a lot of fights. And then the last synergy that I'm trying to take these champs off. The last synergy we're going to talk about is one I think I don't end up using this entire video because fights are simply too short. However, if you're going into a long fight with Killmonger, like an Alliance War boss, or actually Alliance War boss probably isn't enough health, but something like Labyrinth of Legends or Abyss of Legends, this synergy is amazing. It allows your special 3 debuffs to convert an additional time. So normally your SP3 will only convert your charges into bleed debuffs one time, and you're actually allowed to do it twice with this synergy. So if you're going into long-term content, this is arguably the most valuable synergy. So those are all the ones that we use in this video. I do use stuff like White Mag's pre-fights as well. Now, he is not a metal nor is he a hero, so he doesn't get the passive stun, but he does get the attack increase, which is what it's for. And then maybe I use like a Nick Fury Purify synergy or something like that. But other than that, not really many synergies. I just want to go over these synergies in case you saw something. And now we're going to go over to the video of the fights, and I'm going to be just talking through the fights as they go on. It is 36 minutes, so this is going to be like a 45-minute video, but Killmonger is worth it. So we're going to be starting off here in Labyrinth of Legends, and this is going to be a Red Hulk solo. So this was a first try solo. Now, of course, this does have Limber, and of course I can't use White Mags to get around the Limber. So you'll notice in this fight, when I landed that intercept, I did not gain a True Strike. That is because I do not have either the Winter Soldier or the Black Panther Civil War synergy active. So, and that's because I just don't need it in a fight like this. I don't need my evade counter right away. Now, a lot of evade counters in the game don't counter Abyss Evade, or Labyrinth Evade. He does. He does counter it, so you will never have... Killmonger will never be evaded if you know what you're doing, and if you have your True Strike active, he will never be evaded. So you'll notice those charges on the right side, the 18, so those are going to stack up to 50 when you want to throw your special 3, and those are just obviously gained through crits. As you can watch, the exact same time that I crit is when the charges go up. And they're not going to do anything now, but as soon as they get to 50, I'm going to throw off my special, and you're going to see them do a lot of damage. So what I did is I threw 2 special 2s to get all my indestructible charges. Now, these indestructible charges, counter them, keep our True Strike up until we get to 50 charges, then throw off our special 3. So now he is at 60%. So we're still doing pretty well for as far as hits go and taking him down. I mean, we've taken off 40% and we haven't even used our big bleeds yet. So we're at 41, and at this point I'm not going to throw any more specials. I'm just keeping my power until I'm able to throw off a special 3. 43, and in this fight I have the Human Torch synergy, so all of my crits will give me a charge, and they will all inflict bleeds. But I don't have the jabs synergy, I believe. So I won't be able to get it from parrying, but I don't even parry. So even if I had that synergy, maybe I do, I honestly don't know. But here we're just about to get to 50. No crits there, but here we get to 50. I throw my special 3 right away. He is at 51% when I throw this special. And look at that. 26k per second. That's over 50k bleed damage per second. We're ticking him down, and the bleeds are about to expire, but not before they deal 40% of the health in Labyrinth of Legends, which is pretty damn good. So now we're just going to finish off the fight, and I believe that if I remember this fight correctly, we actually finished this fight in exactly 200 hits, I'm pretty sure, because it's just this L2 and then he's dead. Yeah. Exactly 200 hits and 3.5 minutes. I mean, that's pretty good for a Red Hulk takedown. So now we're going to be on to Act 6.2.3, and this is the Icarus map. And of course, this is very well-known cheese for Killmonger. There, I missed my parry off the start of the fight, but because it's Killmonger, you go unstoppable. Or, sorry, no, actually, it does activate on parries. But, yeah, I didn't really have even time to talk about that fight before it was over. 14 seconds. And that's the way this entire path is going to be. The way Killmonger works is whenever he gets a debuff on him, he gains a burst of power. Now, of course, that means that with suicides, he basically has an SP1 boost. He starts every single fight with a bar of power, as you see right there. And this node, Icarus, it actually gives him the debuffs, the degens, and they keep activating over and over and over, and that just keeps giving him power. So we're going to be able to get to our L2 and just throw it every time, and the degen does so little damage, and we regen so much because of how often we have these debuffs on us that we're just going to stay at full health. So here, this is the reason I brought along the synergy, was for this fight, so that I could have True Strike versus Medusa, but it didn't actually matter. That L2 would have killed. So wasn't really doing anything to bring that synergy, but this also was not exactly a path where I needed the damage. So yeah, we didn't have to worry about that. And this is actually a fight I thought was really funny because I thought this would be an absolute pain in the ass and would be a really long fight. We're just going to destroy this Emma Frost. She is going to go down so fast, and for such a tanky champion to go down that fast, it was really nice. We're going to throw our L2 at 50%, triggers her diamond form, and we kill through her diamond form. That's how much damage we were doing. Emma Frost in 14 seconds. I genuinely don't think there is a faster option for that fight. I don't think anyone gets that fight done as fast as Killmonger in the entire game. Unboosted, that is. So this Massacre, I was a little worried about my parries failing because, of course, he does reduce defensive ability accuracy if you have debuffs on you. But they never did. So there you go. That fight went over. And it's going to become a theme as you watch this video, or this clip right here, that the fights just all die in 1L2. We gain so much damage from those Furies, and you can see it in these crits that we do. Look at that, 46k no crit on the last hit of the L2. That was a 10-second fight. Insane. And I'm even gonna do the boss. And if you know, bleed champions are not a good counter to Omega Red, but I don't care. And you'll see why. Voodoo was being a little annoying. He kept dashing back. But yeah, all you have to do is 10 hits and then you're at your L2. And that was a 107k crit on the L2. And that would have killed even with no crit. You didn't need it. But just wanted to flex that, oh, I got like a 107k hit as well. So now we have this Thor. Second last fight on the path. Just about done. It's just such a nice counter. I know this is kind of old, this is very well known, but I still wanted to include it because he is just insane. And there, the bleed kills, we didn't actually have to do that extra hit. So the L2 technically still killed because it was a crit from the L2 that triggered the bleed. And now we are on to the last fight. I was thinking about switching someone, but I changed my mind because I want this fight to be fast. So I'm just going to swap no one. And we're going to go into this Omega Red. I thought if this fight doesn't go well, I'll just not include it in the video because this video was about the path. But look at this fight. This is disgusting. I land an intercept. 5 hits. 5 hits. Look at this. Intercept. 2 hits. Boom! 150k crit. Oh, boy. That was crazy. So now we are on to our next fight, which is Act 6.3.1 Medusa, which has Do You Bleed and Buffet are the 2 most important nodes. And this Medusa just doesn't have enough health for us to showcase Killmonger's damage. Because by the time we get to our L3 and actually throw it off, this Medusa is almost completely dead. Because the basic bleeds just do so much damage. They're ticking for, I believe it was around like 1700 or something like that. That one was 946, but it's also, it's not consistent all the time. That one was 1372. Pretty damn good. That was 2360. And the reason that it gets increased is because this node also has, this boss, this Medusa also has a node where you do increased damage when you have a bleed active. So if you trigger one bleed while another one's active, you will gain the attack increase on the second bleed. But yeah, this is just absolute control over a fight. We do not care at all how much she is regenning because we counter her auto block, we counter her everything. So right now we're just throwing specials until we get our gray charges for bleeds to show up. And as soon as that happens, we're going to save for our L3. And this Medusa is going to be dead. So yeah, there you go. That was the big bleed, 2600. And now I see those charges come up. I make the mistake right there of eating the L2 because I was prematurely trying to counter it. So we just did parry medium heavy twice to get to our L3, and then we're going to throw this off. And the bleed ticks, here I only triggered 18, so they're only doing about 12k per second, but it was still nice. And here we have Act 6.3.4 Hyperion, and there was actually a trend on YouTube like 6 or so months ago, and everyone was calling this, quote, the most annoying Hyperion. That's what everyone was titling the videos, and they're like, most annoying Hyperion taken down in 20 seconds or something like that. And I just wanted to showcase what Killmonger does for this fight. And first off, he provides a very fast kill. By the first L2, this Hyperion's already at 40%, but the second thing he does is he tanks L3s like a madman. So I take a combo there. I do not care. I go for an intercept here. I'm also almost at my L2. Let's just throw the L2. Look at this. Ready? We're going to counter this. Going for a combo. There, I dashed back and parried so that I would trigger my reverb because Killmonger in his SIG ability gets a damage increase if he has both True Strike or True Strike and he has reverb active, so that second L2 just killed. We could have tanked that L3 without the invulnerability, but you know, he's got the invulnerability, so why not? So here, this is Act 7.1.3 Path A, and this has the Mesmerize node as well as stun vulnerability, so you'll notice me doing parries a lot. So here, I throw my L3 during the stun. Now, it probably would have been better if I threw an L2 there because it would have done more damage, because as long as you activate a special 3 during the stun, all of the hits get the damage increase, or sorry, special 2. Special 3 is, that's true as well, but if you throw a special during the stun, it doesn't matter if the individual hit is during the stun, your entire special will get the attack increase, which I thought is really cool. And I'm only going to take down 2 fights on this path. It's going to be Spidey and then also, Star-Lord and then OG Spidey. But Mesmerize is a very annoying node, and Killmonger just provides a great counter to it. Now, if you're looking for an immediate counter to the evade, of course, you have the option to bring Winter Soldier and Black Panther Civil War, which means that you don't have to counter a special or anything. But right here, we're going to counter the special and go in, and we're going to do the trick where we throw the L2, and look at this. Boom, 31k crit with no source of damage increase other than the stun vulnerability. And Spidey is just going to go down right here. Very fast solution to that fight, and of course without suicides he becomes a very good option for clearing the entire path. So this is Act 7.2.1 M.O.D.O.K boss. This has the nodes Stampede, Defective Defense, and Aggressive. Now, of course, Defective Defense is a little bit annoying, as well as M.O.D.O.K's ability to reverse regen is annoying, so we are going to lose quite a bit of health from our suicides in this fight. But as long as we just evade the L2, never trigger that concussion or disorient on us too much, we can just solve this fight by countering L1s and baiting L1s. Baiting L1s and throwing specials. And we're just going to land intercepts this entire fight. And it's going to be a really easy fight for Killmonger because you never have to worry about the disorient if you never block. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep our True Strike active, and we're never going to block. And by the way, if you were to bring Killmonger into Grandmaster's Gauntlet and take the M.O.D.O.K in there, this is the exact way you would take that fight. Now, of course, that fight does have a reduction on the special damage other than special 1, so if you weren't running suicides, I'd recommend throwing special 1. So at this point, I realized, oh, I was so close to triggering my bleeds that I should have just not thrown that last L2, and he would have been dead right here, because I would have thrown an L3, and it would have been more than enough to kill. But instead, I'm just going to take a little bit, and I'm going to get to my L3, which isn't really that big of a deal, because as you see, at this point, we still have a lot of health to work with. We did eat that L1 right there, but that's completely fine. We just need to land one more intercept, and there I just decide to get the disorient on us because that doesn't affect the special 3 conversion, and they convert into bleeds, and this fight is just over. He dies from the bleeds. And there you go. That's a very quick solution to M.O.D.O.K. Overall, I find Killmonger to be the best counter in the game for both M.O.D.O.K and Overseer, as far as directly countering their abilities goes. So next up, this is Act 7.2.5 Path B. The nodes are Superiority, Villain, Surging Vengeance, and Tyranny. So obviously Killmonger is a villain, which makes him perfect for this. But I wanted to showcase 2 different things in this fight. First off, he is a villain, so he is able to taunt the opponent through his heavy attack. So I'm going to be throwing the heavy attack to cheese this fight without needing to eat special 3s. And second, I'm going to take the yellow jacket after this, and I'm going to tank special 3s to show that he can just do that. Because if you don't have a way to cheese the node like there is with this taunt on this path, he can just tank special 3s to get around stuff like All or Nothing, Surging Vengeance, and stuff like that. And yeah, not too much here. I'm just showing off the heavy attack taunt that you gain from Superiority, which is being a villain on this path, to get him to throw specials, and he is going to throw specials pretty nicely. So we're just taking him down slowly but surely, keeping up our taunt, and doing some pretty decent damage in the meantime. So this L2, I believe, is not going to kill WoW. So maybe one more combo and then he'll die. No, of course I'm going to take a combo to the face before I kill him. And then there we go. He does go down. So this is a little bit of a longer fight. Obviously that one was 134, and this one's going to be even longer. But the point of these fights is to show the way that he can counter the node. And in this case, he has 2 ways to counter the node, one of which is through the taunt. And the second, and you'll notice in this fight I don't throw a single heavy attack, is by just eating L3s because he can. And of course, on this path, you'll notice right there, I had my Poison Suicides Purified, but also Yellow Jacket inflicts a Power Sting on his L3, and Killmonger's just going to shrug that off. Really stupid, and he didn't want to throw it. Oh, I forgot to speed it up. So I'm just going to skip forward a bit. Right here. I didn't skip forward that much, but basically I spend quite a while trying to bait out a special out of him, and then I just say, why am I skipping through it? Okay, whatever. I'm just going to wait it out. I know it was like a really long time that he refused to throw a special attack. Surging Vengeance doesn't, by the way, prevent them from throwing a special 2 if that's the special they're supposed to throw. This was the special he was supposed to throw. In this moment, he was supposed to be throwing an L2. I just got sick and tired of him not throwing it, so I said, screw it. You're not throwing an L2. I'm just going to push you to L3. Now, of course, at this point, we do have 2 indestructible charges, so we can just eat the L3. We're going to tank the L3 right here, and then we just purify that Power Sting. So nothing to worry about, and now we just got to kill him. So his special 3, so I didn't do it against Venompool. I decided to wait and do it against Yellow Jacket. So you do have to watch out for the secondary damage sources like that. But that's generally speaking not the case for most champions. Most champions don't have a secondary damage source on their L3. And Yellow Jacket goes down. A little bit of a longer fight, and obviously not played ideally because I was kind of ignoring one of the nodes because I was trying to just show that he can eat special 3s. So now we'll go on to our next fight, which is Act 7.2.6, Path F. And we're just going to fight this Daredevil. And this node has Flare, but it also has Physical, Energy, and Critical 90% resistance. And True Strike actually gets around that. So we're not going to be resisted in this fight. I do actually get pretty bad luck on my crits, and I don't crit in this fight, I think, a single time. And True Strike does get around the crit resistance, so it had nothing to do with that. I just got insanely bad RNG, and I didn't crit. Maybe if I brought the Human Torch, or sorry, the Jabari Panther synergy, and I parried, I would have, but I just didn't. But it still goes down, especially with insanely bad RNG, pretty quickly. So now we're going on to our next fight, which is Act 7.3.1, Labyrinth Ultron. Now, of course, we do have our synergies here to start off the fight with our True Strike. This is going to be a little bit of a longer fight. This fight does have Armored Assault is really the only challenging node, and Armored Assault is just going to make him unblockable whenever he has a armor up, and whenever we crit, we do 0 damage, which is another node, but that's part of this fight. And what we want to do this entire fight is just keep intercepting, because when he's unblockable, I just don't really care. If I'm intercepting, I don't need to care. And there, I do actually mess up my SP1 dex, so there I have to bait a heavy attack through blocking, and he throws it right away, which was nice. But obviously he is bleed immune, so we're not going to get our full damage because we are missing out on all the bleed damage. But this is just kind of a showcase. There's one more fight later on where I am facing another bleed immune, and I'm just showing his evade counter, which is by far the most annoying part of Labyrinth Ultron, so we're just completely ignoring that. Also a pretty nice heavy crit there, especially because this node has no way to increase your damage on it. So that was just like a normal heavy crit. So yeah, a little bit of a longer fight, so I'll just let you guys watch the rest. You'll notice I strategically activated the reverb there when I had True Strike active so that I did more damage, and I did get 10k crits on my medium there, which was pretty nice. So you want to try to trigger reverb when you can, when you have True Strike active, because you just get so much more damage. And when you have your indestructible charges up, that locked hit does 0 damage. So there's really no loss unless you feel like taking a combo to the face immediately before or after. So there you go, and he does go down. A little bit of a longer fight. It was about 2 minutes, but that's still not that bad. So now we are on Act 7.3.3, Path D, Quake. And this has Do You Bleed, and it has Paradox Debuff Potency. So every time either of us throws a special attack, I gain a Paradox, and that increases the potency of my bleeds by 30% per Paradox charge. So the point of this video, or the point of this fight rather, is to showcase the potency of his bleeds on a node like this. They do get pretty big. So at this point already at 3 charges, that is doing 6k per second. Now it's doing 7k per second. You'll notice I see my gray charges appear there because I've crit 15 times. So now I'm just looking to get to my special 3 and then throw it. So there he throws another one, and I'm going to trigger my reverb right before so that I get increased damage. And I'm going to throw my L3 here, and look at that. If you want to pause that, that was 37k bleed per tick, which is 74,000 damage per second from bleed. And that was only with 20 of my charges, so that's only 40% of the damage that I would have gotten if I had built up to 50 charges. But obviously the Quake would have been dead from my basic bleed attacks long before then. And also I could have gotten more potency by having like 11 of my Paradox charges as well. So this fight is Act 7.3.3 Spider-Ham boss, and this one does have shifting immunity, so you won't always be able to bleed him, so it is a bit of a longer fight, and this is one of those fights that I said was more to showcase his evade counter rather than showcasing his bleed, well, like being able to show his bleed damage, you know, that he doesn't always need it. He does take this fight down pretty quickly, despite being taunted a lot, but he is able to purify those with the Void synergy. And I actually end up taking all 3 bosses in this map with Killmonger, and they're all really nice fights. This is the longest of the 3 because one of the other 2 has Foresight and the other has Stun Vulnerability. Or sorry, no, it has Heavy Assault. One has Foresight and one has Heavy Assault, so I'm able to take advantage of those for extra damage. But for this one, you don't really want to throw specials if you have a Power Sting on you. So I'm really just about keeping that True Strike up, and he will go down. So here, I could have thrown my L3 because my Power Sting expired, and that my L3 would absolutely have killed him there. But we just kill him with the basic combo, and we end at full health. So there we go, 1.5 minutes. And these fights are going to be way faster. This is, again, 7.3.3 Starkey with Aggression, Fury, Mixmaster, Heavy Assault. And the Be Like Water node is going to prevent us from being able to just parry heavy the entire fight and get it done really quickly. I did showcase in my rank 4 Doom video, I showcased this with... I didn't make like a standalone video, but I'm pretty sure I did upload it, where I showed this fight with Dr. Doom and a White Mags pre-fight with the Diablo synergy, guaranteed crits and everything. But right there, we aren't always able to take advantage of the node, and there I actually countered the L1 too early, so I had to push to another L1 so he could throw it so I wouldn't lose my True Strike, because of course this still has a Mixmaster. And here we're able to throw our heavy attack, and we get a nice 42k crit on the second hit, which is pretty sweet. We did have reverb active there, so we did get our attack increase from our SIG ability. But at this point, I throw another heavy attack, 15k non-crit, which is pretty sweet. And now I just want to get to my L3, and we're going to throw off that L3 and kill him. So here we just need to throw one more special. We're going to counter it, and then we're going to go for a heavy attack. And we actually get the attack increase from the heavy assault on our entire L3 because of stored status and the way it works with nodes like this, which I've talked about many times. And now we are on for the third one, which is 7.33 Stealthy Boss. Now this one has Foresight, and this fight was just beautiful. We were able to do this fight really well, landed all of our intercepts very cleanly. So there, I let him hit into our block twice, and I know the counter for punishing it and it counting as an intercept because I have fought double medium champions with Ghost on Ebb and Flow intercept before, so I know the way that works, and I was able to line it up really nicely. It does unfortunately take away 2 of my charges, but that's fine because I really only need to do that once to set up my evade counter. But yeah, we land all our intercepts really nicely, so while we do get most of our debuff shrugged off in this fight because of a 75% tenacity that this node has, it's still really nice. And then here we throw our L2 with Foresight. We unfortunately get only 1 crit, so it doesn't kill, but that was still a pretty nice crit. That was like 52k, I think. So yeah, pretty good. And next up here, we have Act 745, and this has Fighting Fit, and also has Hazard Shift, Incinerate, Poison, and Schadenfreude. It also is a node where you can charge a heavy attack or throw a heavy attack, basically, although it doesn't need to land. That's why the node specifies charge a heavy attack, and you gain an immunity to Incinerate. So here he was, I just wanted to hit him a little bit during the poison part of Hazard Shift because of course we are waiting to get to our 5 Furies from the Fighting Fit node, which we gain from being immune to Incinerate from the node. And then here we're just going to throw it. We have 5 Furies active, and this L3 is way overkill to kill this Miles. The L3 would have done 69.2k. which is pretty sweet. And what I did is I just brought Mole Man to take the non-science champs. So I'm gonna use Killmonger for all the science champs on this path, and then I'm gonna show all 3 videos, and then the other 3 I took with Mole Man, but I'm not gonna show them. So we do land our first L2 here, and he's already below 50% at this point. So there, I just wanted to hit him once to get our True Strike. But we do actually have to land a heavy attack right now during the poison so that I can have my Incinerate immunity ready. And I forgot about it, which is why I'm going to take a little bit of damage here. But then I do throw the heavy attack, and we do throw our L2, and we kill him. So still a pretty fast fight. Mole Man's obviously better for stuff like this, but he does it pretty well. And now for the last science champ on this path, it is an Invisible Woman, who of course has a pretty low health pool, and unfortunately we are not going to be able to kill her before the second set of force field charges come, but it's going to be really close. We were almost able to. Also, this is a node where when you parry, you are inflicted with an armor break, but that's not a big deal. So yeah, here we have 40%, and to be honest, I should have just countered her and sucked up the poison damage and not really cared about it, but I was looking to end this fight with a bit of health, so I'm gonna let the force field come back, but it's gone after 3 hits. So there we land a parry. We're gonna go in and finish off the fight. So still a pretty fast fight. And now we are on to the last clip of this video, which is a full clear of Cav EQ 1.2 full path. Now this has Mixmaster on it, and it has a Fury node where every single time that a skill attacker prevents evade in any way, they gain a Fury buff. Now this Fury buff stacks up to 10 times, and I believe the potency is 35% attack for each one. So you'll notice I'm going to be doing medium light combos so that I get 2 evades out of every single one, and then I throw my L2, and that generally kills. So there, it did kill. There's one fight on this path that's suboptimal for Killmonger because it's Elektra, and my charges won't convert into passive unstoppable because I have debuffs on me, and that ability will fail. But on every other fight, we're able to take advantage of our synergy team with Black Panther and Winter Soldier, and we're able to get our intercepts. There, I wasn't really interested in getting another intercept. I was mostly interested in getting my evade counter charges. So there we do get to up to 8, and then we're going to throw the L2, and this is just going to kill. Very nice fight. And this is pretty much the way that the entire path goes. So this is the highest level of event quest, and the fights are over consistently in 20 seconds. When I was doing the other paths, I did actually use Killmonger for every path, but that was before he was 455. For some of the paths, he probably wasn't even rank 4 yet. So it was, but yeah, look at how fast this fight is. Miles is just melting. We do get really bad AI or really bad RNG, and he does throw it there. The reason that I got to 10 so fast in that fight is because Miles, despite the buff taking away most of his ability to evade, he still does have an ability to evade. So all hits while we have True Strike active not only give us the evade counter from Mixmaster Fury, it also gives us the evade counter from his personal evade Fury. So yeah, that's why, if you're wondering why the charges went up so fast there, that is why. It does actually count twice, because although one hit can't be evaded twice, you are failing 2 opportunities for him to evade, so you get 2 Furies. The same thing works with Falcon and any evade counter, I guess, actually. But yeah, here I just wanted to land a parry, so we're going to land an intercept right there to get our evade counter, but we can't really trust our parries there. I do get it. But you'll notice that I'm waiting till the end of my stun to start my combo, and the reason that I'm doing that is because I want the second light attack to be evaded, which means it cannot occur during the stun, so I just want to guarantee that the second light attack is not during the stun. So that was Elektra. Again, a little problematic and not a perfect fight for Killmonger, but if you're not running suicides, it is a perfect fight for Killmonger. I just didn't want to turn them on for a minor inconvenience in one fight. And this is the last fight on the path. Venom the Duck. We're going to get our charges. We got our True Strike right there. And I'm just building up our evade charges through light attacks. And we are just going to throw off this L2, and this kills. So I did actually go in and I soloed the Silver Surfer boss. It took 1 minute and 12 seconds. It was a little slow, so I didn't feel like showing it. But yeah, that is going to be our showcase for our rank 4 Killmonger. Now I am planning to go in and do Act 6.4 Grandmaster, 7.2 Gwen Master, 7.3 Kang, and 7.4 Kang. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get solos in all 4 fights with Killmonger. I just thought that that wasn't really the type of thing that I should include in a video like that, because those fights can be like 8-9 minutes in length, and I didn't really want to make this video any longer than it already was. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I know personally I am loving this rank 4 Killmonger. I'm so happy that I took him up over Fury, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun with him in the future. So that is all. If you guys have a specific fight you want to see Killmonger take, just let me know. I was thinking of maybe doing Abyss Medusa. I thought that would be an interesting fight with Killmonger. But yeah, that is going to be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all later. Bye.